name is Andy, and this is the most magical podcast on earth. When I'm not on holiday at Walt Disney World, I'm planning a holiday to Disney. And when I'm not planning a holiday to Disney, I'm talking about Disney with other UK fans like me who make the trip to Orlando and the House of the Mouse. So whether you're a parks professional or a Florida first-timer, this is the podcast for you. Each episode, I'll be chatting to other Disney superfans to share memories of their magical times, answering your Walt Disney World questions, getting you all the latest news from the parks, and finding out what's happening right now in Orlando. So get your ears on as we take you to the most magical place on earth. This is the most magical podcast on earth as part of the Secret Recordings Network. A brand new guest on this episode. We're going to talk to Jordan soon. Not just a big Walt Disney World fan, he's also a pyrotechnics expert. So what are the tricks? Where are the best places to watch the fireworks? We'll find out. We'll chat to Jordan very soon. And we've got some more of your questions to get through on this episode of the podcast. You can send me any planning questions over. Make sure you're following us on the socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. @PodMagical is where we are. Hello to Chris. This is very formal. Andy, I was just wondering, how does one get selected to be a Grand Marshal for the Magic Kingdom Afternoon Parade? We'll be going next year with my daughter, who will then be 6, and I think it would make our trip even more magical. Chris, I'd love to be able to give you an answer for this. I've done a little bit of research. I've even given Disney a shout, and the answer is... it's purely random. The Grand Marshals are the people, just before the parade starts, one of the vehicles will go past and it'll be like a family or just a random member of the public in their Mickey Mouse ears waving. And you think, how did they get in the parade? Well, Chris, there's your answer. It's purely random. Most families are apparently selected at the beginning of the day. So as you're getting into Magic Kingdom, put your best smile on, look the smartest, look like you've not just had a blazing row the night before. Just be happy, smile to everyone, be really nice to cast members, and I don't know, maybe you just might be lucky. But the answer is, it's purely random. Any questions for the podcast? Give me a shout. And if you'd like to be a guest, like Jordan, send me a message. We have Jordan on this episode of the podcast, and we're going to get straight in. Jordan, tell me why you love Walt Disney World.
Well, why not, really? I mean, I've listened to your podcast so much, and it's the common thing. It's the magical escapism for people that, you know, there's so many magical experiences. It's so magic, everything. How many times I'm going to say magical? I don't know. It's
just magical. It's the most magical podcast on earth. Keep saying magical. It's fine.
I will do. I'm on commission for saying it or something like that, aren't I?
Subliminal.
One thing I really like is with Disney, it is what you make of it. So, for example, you could have the most manic time where you are park hopping, doing every attraction, seeing all the shows, or you can have a really relaxing time. And so for families and things like that, it is a perfect destination as there's so much to do. So I think that's my real love for Disney is the fact that each time you go, there's always something different you can do. You can tailor it to your own needs, really, and make something happy for somebody to do.
And you've been since the pandemic? You've been over the last few months?
I have. Well, we were the second week of America reopening. That was like the first time I've been back since. Sort of obviously COVID. I'm not going to lie, that was the most stressful time for booking Disney. That was my third visit to Disney World. From not knowing until 48 hours before if you're actually going, because dependent on the COVID testing. And
of course.
I think it was like 2 weeks before that we found out that actually Virgin were going to fly because America were reopening. So it was one of those where you want to plan and get excited, but at the same time you don't want to get too excited because I know you can move everything, but it's not the same. So it was a really stressful time with that one, but a learning curve. And like I say, I think it's opened my eyes of how to book Disney in the future. And a top tip for me would be for everyone to do their research and know what it is you want to achieve from your holiday, because it's a case of things change, like parades not being there, shows having to move. So when you would sit there and go, this is what I did last time, I'll do the same again, it's completely different every single time you go. So it's opened my eyes up to how I would now plan my next Disney trip, which I am doing. I'm just going to say that right now.
Oh, okay. We'll find out later on when you're going back again. Let's talk about that. Let's go back to the first time you went to Walt Disney World. What do you remember about that trip?
So just the first time I went there, just the escapism, and again, here comes the word, the magicalness of walking through Magic Kingdom, turning that corner and seeing the castle for the first time. I mean, you've seen it in pictures, you've seen it in vlogs, and you just go, yeah, it looks really good. But to stand there and see it in person, it just immediately brings a tear to your eye. And that is the one thing for me. A long flight, trip to Disney Springs. I think it was, what was it called previously? It wasn't Downtown.
Oh, yeah, Disney, Downtown Disney, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Downtown
Pleasure
Disney.
Island.
Yeah, so that's when it was there. And then obviously first day getting up Magic Kingdom, which has to be done. It can't be any other park. I mean, you've got to go to the happiest place on earth as the first day, and just having that vision of the castle, and it just ingrains in your brain. You know, that image, I can still see it to this very day, really,
of the first time you saw the castle.
Yeah, exactly. And it was one of the traditional old-fashioned crane castles as well when I saw it.
Oh, you had the cherry picker in the background.
Yes. So I've got the picture with the crane, and I do miss that.
You missed the crane?
The lights, well, yeah, the crane was the best bit, really. Obviously, Christmas light switch on, as I like to refer to it, with Elsa and everything. That was just such a, it was just such a magical moment. And then going back to when we've just been, because I did the Christmas party, lovely to see the castle being projected on, but for me it just was a little bit underwhelming compared to when the castle just lit up and was sparkling, if you know what I mean, from previous times. So that was another good memory that we had when we were there, really.
What would be your favourite all-time memory from Walt Disney World? That one thing that really holds fondness in your heart? Yeah,
so I mean, favourite memory is really how Disney can turn something around. So a bit of backstory on this. Whereas we'd gone out to SeaWorld for the day, and we planned in that we were going to do all the parks, etc., while we were out there. And it was when we'd just recently been. So I went to SeaWorld, and it was just so bad. Like, the rides were constantly breaking down. The staff attitude wasn't where you'd expect it. We had the all-you-can-eat wristbands, but none of the restaurants were open. So it was a bit like, what's going on? And we just felt so let down, really, by SeaWorld. And we wanted to just go back to Disney, really, and go back as to the home places, welcome home and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. So we'd mentioned to the guest services at SeaWorld, and we had the Mia's transfer shuttles booked, but that was like 3 hours in advance, and they couldn't bring it any sooner for us. So SeaWorld said, right, we understand, we've let you down. So they paid for us to get an Uber back to Disney. Now, bear in mind, Disney know nothing of what's gone on. We arrived back at the hotel, and we went into the room, and we were trying to decide what we were going to do. And we decided we'll book a park pass for Magic Kingdom. Managed to get one, luckily, because it was like quite late on the afternoon. And as we opened the door into the room, there was a package sat on the bed. And it was like, okay, what's this? So we went over, and there was a little bag with 2 bags of popcorn in it, a picture frame, and a little card that basically said, to the Drakeford family, really, really happy that you've come back, etc., blah, 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 nice to welcome you. And it was just like a little touch that was like, okay, nice. They didn't have to do that, but they did. Moving on, though, with this, and this is where the night just went absolutely amazing. So we went on to Magic Kingdom. We went in as soon as we got there. We'd been looking for the turquoise 50th T-shirt.
The ones you could never get.
The right size. Yes, that's the one. We couldn't find the size, and so we walked in. We just sort of nipped in the Emporium, like, we'll have a look, and lo and behold, it was there. So it was again like everything's working out quite good today. And so we went up, and we said, right, let's go, because I mentioned before, I work for like a pyrotechnic company as well, so I love fireworks. And not only do I like watching them from in front of the castle, I like to go behind the castle, because you get like a 360. You've got the aerial shells coming from behind. You've got the castle effects going off in front of you. And we got round there, and we just stood there watching the display. And a photographs photographer came up, and she was like, scanned Magic Band. And she just said, just watch the fireworks. And whilst we were watching the display, she just took hundreds and hundreds of photos. Honestly, there was so many. Some didn't come out too good quality, because obviously the lighting of the fireworks, etc. So we were like, wow, we didn't expect that. She didn't have to. We were just watching fireworks, and she made something special of it. So we looked through the app and saw the photos, and we were like, right, okay, we've got that photo frame that they've just put in our room. Let's go buy a photo from tonight, from the town square theatre. So off we went down there. And we picked out the picture we wanted. Absolutely amazing. And the lady was there, obviously, X amount of pounds, blah, blah, blah. She then just disappeared. And she came back to us and she was like, just been in to see Mickey. And he said it's on the mouse. And they gave us the photo for free. And all I did, I was so shocked. We stepped out of there onto Main Street and I just welled up because it was the moment of going, I've had such a rubbish day. Disney did not know any of that, but how magical are their experiences that they've turned everything around. And like I say, it was just walking out, like no one had to do anything they did for us.
And
but
they
it
did
just
know.
completely was like, this is the magic of Disney.
Yeah.
And SeaWorld, if you are listening, take a hint.
But isn't it funny though? It's little things. That would have cost Disney nothing. But to you, that's your memory that you have taken and you will keep telling people. And that's what, that's what makes Disney as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I do remember a couple of years ago, I had a similar sort of experience where I was just getting a Mickey Ice, which, to be fair, I would really want one right now because it's so warm.
Yeah.
And the guy did exactly the same. He was like, there you go. And I was like, how much? He was like, no, off you go. Have a nice day. And I was
Mickey.
like, what? It's just those little touches. Like you say, it costs Disney nothing, but leaves the memory, which is absolutely fantastic.
Totally. Let's talk about some of your favourite things, Jordan. Let's talk about, you mentioned last time that you got back to your Disney hotel and there was the photo frame stuff. So where were you last time? Where were you staying in terms of accommodation? Where'd you like to stay?
I have stayed in Animal Kingdom Lodge. I mean, the first time I went out, we did 2 weeks, 1 week at All Stars, and then a week at Animal Kingdom, so we split it up. And as much as I love the deluxes and all that sort of stuff, for me, there's so much to be doing at Disney, and we all know it's not the cheapest.
No.
I always recommend stay in the budget ones because at the end of the day, you've got a bed, you've got some great facilities, you've got pools, save your money, and you can then use that money to go for character dining, go for souvenirs, if you can find the ones you want. But yeah, so for me, it's always one of the budgets, Art of Animation and All Stars. Like I say, last time I went out just before Christmas was All Stars all the way. And again, it's just a place to rest your head. And you find that you're up at 7 a.m. to make sure you can get your reservations because at the time Ratatouille had only just opened, so it was still book. You'd get your boarding group.
Oh right, yeah.
On that, so we were lucky to get that. And it's just like you're up at 7, you're out, you're at a park all day, fireworks, come back, and it's almost midnight, and you're that tired by the time you get back, you just hit the pillow and you're gone for the next day. You know what I mean? So for me, always stay in a budget. That's my kind of thing, really. Yeah,
I think that's especially important for us from the UK because we don't go a lot. So, like you say, we'll go for 2 weeks and it's rope drops of fireworks. So, as long as you've got like a bed for the night and a shower, that's kind of all you need, isn't it? Really?
Indeed, yeah, I agree.
And in terms of restaurants, because you said you like a character dining, so where are your favourite places to eat?
See, for me, a character dining is definitely got to be Our Guest. I think the food is stunning. I've done it a couple of times now. I've sat in the main sort of ballroom, which was really nice. But I really liked the Rose Gallery last time we went. It's a little bit quieter in there. It's changed now. Like I say, the Beast only comes around. I don't know if it's changed recently since it's been, but he kind of comes round to tables at a distance. Yeah. Whereas before it was the only place you could meet the Beast.
That's right.
To be. The Beast is probably one of the most, because of the size of his, the size of him. It's just stunning to meet him, really. So yeah, be Our Guest. If I wasn't there, I'd say another thing I like to do is Epcot food and wine festivals. What I like to do is go in first thing in the morning, pick up the passport, and go through each country, mark off what I want to have across the world, if you like, and then we'd go round and we'd share. So we'd buy like one item from each place and we split it between us. So that way you're not filling up too much, but at the same time you're getting to experience lots of different things from different countries. And then by the end of the day, we'd always say like, all right, whatever one was our favourite, we're going to have for our evening meal, if you like, and we go back there. So I do like a bit of the food and wine, just because it's a variety of it, really.
Yeah. I love it. I mentioned that the other week, the fact that I'm not going for food and wine, but I'm still watching all the vlogs and I'm still going through all the menus going, oh, I'd really love to eat that. Oh, I'd love to go there. to go through them all. Listen, hang on with us for a second. Jordan's on the podcast. We'll do the news and we'll be back and talk about your favourite attractions. More with
Jordan very soon. Let's get you a quick news update from the parks. The Halloween parties are here. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party now underway on select nights at Magic Kingdom. Meanwhile, over at Epcot, Soarin' is testing some single rider lanes. That's a great idea. And there's more changes to Genie Plus. Now, this is very confusing. Now, this only affects you if you're going to be park hopping. Previously, before, if you were park hopping and you went to get your lightning lane for the park you're park hopping to, you could get it in the morning and it would give you the first available after 2 o'clock for that attraction. Now, you won't be able to get an attraction lightning lane for after 2 o'clock until they become available in that time, if you know what I mean. Automatically, it just knew you were going to be there after 2, so it gave you the first one after 2. Now, you've got to wait until the lightning lanes catch up to 2 o'clock for people who are already in the parks. So basically, you've just got to keep checking Genie Plus. I know, something that was already confusing has been got even more confusing. Don't forget, keep up to date with all the news. Follow us on the socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, at PodMagical. So Jordan's on this episode. What are your favourite attractions?
I've got a couple, really. I mean, fireworks, yes. I'm a massive fan of Happily Ever After, and I know a lot of people say this. For me, I did like Enchantment. I just felt like when they were designing it, they got halfway through the story and kind of forgot a scene and carried on.
Yeah.
It just kind of drops, whereas Happily Ever After flows a bit nicer. So I think for the newest fireworks shows, for me, Harmonious was just incredible. I love the 360, and with being a bit of a pyrotechnician and a bit of a pyromaniac, if you like, I love being close to the explosions. When they do the 360 round the actual lagoon, it's just the feel and thumping inside you is really good.
Epcot, yeah.
In terms of attractions, now I say this to all my friends and they literally just look at me like, but you hate Star Wars. Rise of the Resistance, and wow, I was just absolutely blown away from it. Went on it about 4 times when we were out there. Each day just got there first thing in the morning. They advertised it like a 3-hour wait, but you know what Disney's like, within 20 minutes you're on it.
Rope drop it, get in there, yeah. Don't believe the queue time.
Exactly. Yeah, you go in places of the park that you never thought you'll ever see before you get on the ride, but it's all good. And it's just the effects on the ride. And like I say, I don't know anything about the stories of Star Wars, but there is a story that everyone can follow, and just the pure effects and how it flows. It's a real immersive journey that I think everyone can appreciate. So for me, yes, I have to say Rise of the Resistance is probably my favourite ride at Disney World, really.
Wow. I've got to ask you this. So you work in pyrotechnics. Where are the best places to stand to watch the fireworks? I'm throwing this on you, but is it because you said you like to watch Enchantment behind the castle? Is that, would you say, watch it in front and behind? And where should we be standing exactly?
Yeah, you've got to watch it from in front and behind. Now, one thing that Disney try to do is that obviously, because they have to keep the walkways clear, before the show, they try to make everyone go as close to the castle as possible so they can kind of fill in from the front. Mm-hmm. Now, in my opinion, I would always try to get sort of where Main Street meets like the central hub, just because you get the visuals of the castle, but you also get to see those aerial shells that are, going up. Sometimes if you go too close, they're often hidden behind the castle. So yes, you get a real good view of the projections, but you do lose some of the sort of pyrotechnical effects. So sort of just as you go in, like kind of that circle, one thing, I mean, it may not always work, so please don't quote me on it, but I have noticed that don't always need to get there an hour before. Right. Because once it gets close to the show start time, all those pathways, they then start filling in with extra people. So where they've been keeping it clear since from 8 o'clock till the 9 o'clock start, at 10 to 9, those pathways then get filled up with people.
They move you
can sometimes be lucky and get a good spot right in the middle without waiting that, hour before. Again, another thing is to watch them from behind. Yes, you obviously get the sound. You don't get any of the visuals, but just to have shells going off pretty much above your head, and then you've got the front low level stuff going on, by the carousel, etc. It just becomes like a 360. I know with obviously the Christmas party, 4th of July, they have the extra ones where they've got the extra sites that they shoot from. Yeah. But for the sort of standard nighttime productions to feel like you're immersed in it is just absolutely amazing, and you don't know where to look. There's so much going on.
All right, so from anywhere around the back of the castle.
Yeah, so what they do is they kind of where the princesses are, they kind of rope off that area there, so you can't get to the actual castle itself, so it goes up to there to the carousel and then over to Fill Our Magic, so it's kind of from there, but you can stand anywhere, sort of like, where they've got towards Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, all that area. Absolutely brilliant to just stand in there. When you get there, you'll know exactly where to stand. It kind of speaks for itself once you stood there, if you know what I mean.
I'll do that next time. But it's quite a long time away, but I'll definitely do that next time. Any other top tips that you've found over your years of your trips to Disney World? What else would you recommend?
Definitely top tip is to plan. Be flexible with your planning. I mean, I get an Excel spreadsheet out. I put in all the parks. I put the dates we're going. I go, right, this park's open from 9 till midnight. I put this, and this goes across like all the other parks, as in Universal Studios, etc. And we kind of play around with it so that we know that we're going to be here roughly on this day. That might change. We kind of plan, but know what you want to achieve from your holiday. If you want to relax in time, start looking at hotels, pool bars. If you want to go mental, look at all the attractions, look at what you can throw in and start researching. Because I feel that, and from past when I used to work at a theme park myself, people would turn up with no idea what they wanted to do and they'd leave and they'd have done hardly anything, whereas people who know what they want to do and know backup plans go away and they have that amazing day, which that's a top tip, really. Make sure you know where you want to go. I mean, there's some great vlogs out there, DFB, Mickey Views, listen to podcasts. Don't know if you could recommend any in the UK. I
don't know any at all, to be honest.
Yeah, again, just know your knowledge, and that's going to make you have the best holiday you want, but ultimately you've got to know what you want from your holiday.
Did you use Genie Plus last time?
No, I didn't. Just because I was a bit apprehensive. It was quite new at the time, and I was like, I don't really want to be splashing out cash on fast tracks when we can plan our day, in a good way. I mean, I do miss the old reservation system. I mean, you'd use your 3 or 4, and I remember when we were at Animal Kingdom and Flights of Passage was like completely sold out, but I'd like get like Dinosaur, I'd be like, I don't want to go on Dinosaur again, and you just keep refreshing, spamming it, and all of a sudden one would pop up. And I remember we did Flights of Passage like 9 times in one day, all via using the app. And
just
I was
keep refreshing and going on. Yeah, because of course, with Genie Plus, once you've used your Genie Plus Lightning Lane for an attraction, you can't use it again for that attraction. Whereas the old Lightning Fast Pass, you could go on it as many times as you want, couldn't you?
Oh yeah, exactly. You could play it very cleverly. So yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing from listening, obviously, your podcast and people's opinions on how they're doing it, in, like, say, stacking. Personally, for me, I'd quite happily wait, because I know, like, say, a lot of times Disney say it's an hour wait and you're on within 20 minutes because they do that over exaggeration of the queue time, because it's that magical experience. Then you come off and it's like, oh, I only waited 15 minutes, even though I said it was going to be like an hour. So I think if you just like plan your route and plan what you want to do, then you're all good, really. Yeah,
and be prepared to wait. You've got to wait sometimes in your life. You can't just jump on everything, can you?
And 9 times out of 10 as well, like if you go down the fast track or fast pass lane, you miss a lot of the theming.
Yeah, you do.
Like the queues are so immersive. It's not like when you go to places like SeaWorld and it is just a cattle pen. Do you know what I mean? It is so immersive. There's always something to be looking at, things to play on. Do you know what I mean? There's just so much. And that's why I think Disney really hits that mark, going back to why Disney. They go above and beyond in everything. They don't need to have a light that's themed down to the actual T, but they do, because it all goes to creating that magical experience.
Yeah. I'm going to give you your perfect Disney day. Now, this is not your only day at Walt Disney World. This is, you're there for a couple of weeks, but there's one day when you're just going to do the best day. What is that day? And remember, you can stay anywhere, eat anywhere.
Going to keep it realistic, because I do listen to some people, and it is a hectic day. But
4 parks, water park, and Disney Springs. I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. And a trip to SeaWorld as well.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, this is probably not one I've heard, but I would like to wake up in Cinderella's castle, because
we all,
they've got that little suite, haven't they? And it's like, well, it's my perfect day, so I can do what I want. But yeah, it's really something I've always wanted to do, just to say I've stayed in there. I'd have some Mickey waffles and syrup, nice basic breakfast. I'd head over to Tron, because obviously it will be open. I was devastated that it wasn't open.
Yeah,
but at least it was still a construction site when we were there. It wasn't a case of it looks like it could be opening. So I'd do that. I'd probably watch the castle show, just for a bit of ambience. Maybe take in Splash Mountain, Thunder Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean, and obviously the parade. Love the parades. I'd then take the monorail over to Epcot, so I would park up.
Yeah, that's fine.
I get on Guardians of the Galaxy again because it wasn't open when I went out, and I really, really want to go on it. So I'd head over to there. I'd then get my little food passport out. We'd take a little trip around the world, picking up little bits and bobs, a few drinks, etc. Maybe go on test track. And then I'd head over to the transportation centre because something I wanted to do, and I was desperate to do it, I think it had restarted, but we just couldn't get tickets for it, is to do the firework cruise.
Oh, okay.
Which, for those who don't know, it's you basically go out to sit outside Magic Kingdom on this big boat, and
it's on one of the ferries, isn't it, that takes you from transportation to Magic Kingdom during the day. It's like a fireworks, fireworks, isn't it?
Yeah, and they put so you get unlimited drinks, and you can't beat unlimited drinks. So you get that, you get some desserts. So we'd watch the fireworks show from there. And then obviously now they're doing the fireworks twice a night, so that'd be for the first one. We'd go into Magic Kingdom, head behind the castle, and watch it from there. So just to get that really, and then probably from there head over to Disney Springs just to soak up the entertainment, a few drinks, and then the night really. So
sounds like a good plan. I like that.
Yeah.
And also talking about planning, you mentioned that you're thinking about going back again, or you've already just booked to go back again. What's the deal? What's going on?
Well, the deal is I haven't quite got to the stage where I was at when I booked to go, obviously for just last time. I mean, we went just before Christmas, so that was booked just as COVID was becoming a little thing, and one night I was a little bit tipsy, should I say, and I was just like, oh, but look at the price, and booked it. So I haven't quite got to that stage yet. However, with the hot weather, I could have a few beers and could be rebooking, but I've got Disney Paris coming up in November, so my plan is for next year to possibly go. Now, I've done Christmas twice now at Disney. I've done Halloween once. I do like Christmas, so I'm probably thinking next year to get that sorted. But again, I'm just watching what's going on at the moment in terms of deals and things. So it is on the cards.
Maybe that Halloween,
drink I have.
Maybe that Halloween Christmas crossover sweet spot. You go the very end of October and into the beginning of November when Christmas kicks in.
See, I would love to do that. I just wouldn't trust myself to book it correctly. So I get the right dates.
You need to make sure you're going for at least the last Halloween party, and then Christmas is usually the following it. There's usually a week of nothing, and then the first Christmas party is after that.
Yes, yeah. So I would like to see that. A lot of people say the transformation on going one day to
it's overnight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'd love to see that. So yes, maybe that will. You've got me thinking now.
You got Paris first. Enjoy Paris, and then think about it. Save up.
Awesome.
Yeah, don't get drunk and book it. Lovely chatting to you on the podcast. I am going to go, next time I go, I'm going to go watch the fireworks from behind the castle from your advice.
Indeed.
Yeah, Jordan, thank you very much and have a magical day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Fancy joining me on the podcast if you've got Walt Disney World memories to share? Doesn't matter when was the last time you went. Do give me a shout. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Pod Magical is where we are. If you're heading over to Orlando very soon, don't forget to tag us in your photographs. It should be quiet. If you've got in a last minute trip before schools go back, you're in luck because even though it's very hot, it's not quite as busy because Florida schools have actually started to go back now. So this last few weeks in August is usually pretty quiet. Plus you're going to get all the Halloween decorations. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party at Magic Kingdom has started. The Universal Halloween Horror Nights haven't yet started. A couple of weeks before they kick in. At the beginning of September they start. And of course, we have got the Food and Wine Festival at Epcot, the Eat to the Beat concert series. Loads of live performers appearing. In fact, if you're going this weekend, if you're listening in the airport right now, August the 19th and 20th, Steve Aguri, who was the lead singer with Journey, Don't Stop Believing, is appearing live at Epcot this weekend, followed by Air Supply, I'm All Out of Love. And then in a few days' time, boy band 98 Degrees will be on, which, funnily enough, is probably the temperature in Orlando at the moment. Top tip for this episode is all about food. Now, if you go to a buffet, you can't take any food back with you, okay? If you go to a restaurant, at the end of the meal, if there's any food left on your plate, they'll say, do you want to box it up? And you say, yeah, take it back. Especially if you're staying on site, you can stick it in the fridge. Here is my top tip. If you're going for a meal that's family style, so where they bring the food to you, so for example, the breakfast at Topolino's Terrace, always order too much, because they say, do you want any more dessert, or do you want some more pastries? Order them. Even if you don't want them and you know you're not going to eat them, order them anyway, because they bring it to the table at the end of the meal. They will ask you if you'd like a box to take it home with you. You don't even have to ask for a box. So top tip for this episode is order too much food at a table service if it's included, and make sure you take it back. Those pastries you have for breakfast today will go in the fridge. You can have them tomorrow. Going to be back with a brand new podcast 2 weeks today. Don't forget, new podcast, new guests, more top tips every episode, every fortnight. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a trick. And until next time, please stand clear of the doors.